everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am Chris Radcliffe, and we're going to get right to the latest now from Waco High, where police responded to what we now know was a false active shooter threat that happened earlier today. We've got full team coverage for you, from what police are saying to parents and students, as well as reaction that could only be described as really a chaotic situation and a very interesting afternoon. Let's first get things started by turning over the gavel and the microphone here to Bailey Bates, who's live there now. Bailey, can you walk us through exactly what happened at Waco High today this afternoon?
Chris, the first thing that I want to say is that there was not an active shooter at Waco High today. In fact, Waco police say there was not even shots fired at Waco High. The whole campus has been cleared and deemed safe by multiple law enforcement agencies. Now, what we know right now is that this all started around 2 p.m. today. Waco Police Department got a call that there was an active shooter at Waco High School and there were injuries. The department spokeswoman, Sierra Shipley, says officers arrived on scene in minutes and started to evacuate classroom by classroom. Once this process started, they learned that the call was not credible. At this time, they don't know where or who the call came from, but a false report is illegal, and Waco Police Department is looking into it. Waco ISD, on the other hand, is giving credit to their staff, as they say they handled this very great and that they're thankful that there was not an actual threat on campus today.
No, we take this very seriously. Anytime there's a threat to students or staff, we do train year-round, whether it be students doing drills, teachers doing training. Waco ISD PD does all of the required training and more to make sure that we are prepared for these incidents. And then we do joint training with Waco PD and the city as well to make sure that we're all ready to respond when something like this occurs.
Waco has other school campuses near Waco High that had to be on a secure hold while the high school was still being cleared. One thing I want to point out is that there was another active shooter investigation at a Houston school today. So Waco PD is looking in to see if the threat at Waco High stemmed from the threat at Houston or if it is connected. They said it's too early to say at this time. This is still going to be a very developing situation here at Waco High, and we're going to keep you updated. But Chris, fortunately, all things are clear here today.
Yeah, really a frantic afternoon, but when we think about what could have happened in the worst possible scenario, it's all a pretty good outcome, isn't it, Bailey? Thank you for that report live. Now, we're not done there. We have more on that Houston scare in just a few minutes because that takes forefront as well. But first, in Waco, parents were obviously sent into a panic when news of the lockdowns first broke. As you could imagine, you would too. Andrew Moore is now in the field out there where he was able to talk to some of them. And Andrew, what was the reaction like from community members as they were able to finally greet their kids?
Kids have been coming out of the base event center, which you can see right behind me, with their parents. Parents have been out here since 2:30, very, very worried. Some were able to hear some information from police, but they really didn't know what was going on. There were a lot of rumors circulating around Facebook at the time. Some parents were actually able to be on their phone with the kids inside the school while this was happening. Eventually the parents did flood into the building here right behind me earlier in several different waves to try to be reunited with their kids. Some families worked in teams. They would have one parent go in the building hoping that they were going to be reunited with somebody. Another parent would be outside. They would actually be near the emergency vehicles, kind of worrying just in case what they might see out there as well, hoping to catch their kid either way. Kelly Bollier in particular had been on her phone with her 16-year-old son as her son was still hiding under a desk. She was trying to calm him down, but she said really it was the sound of his voice that was keeping her from panicking.
Son right now because I hear him. He's on the phone. I know he's okay and he's breathing, but what happens when they start to bring these kids out if they're not truly safe? And so that just, I mean, any parent, I'm sure it scares us because we can't do anything to protect our children.
So tell me when. And of course, parents were out here worrying, you know, is this going to be another scenario that is like Uvalde. They really didn't know what was going on. Fortunately, police have said that nobody was shot in this situation. We have seen emergency vehicles, we have seen ambulances around the area. Some of them have moved around, but we haven't been able to confirm if there were any actual injuries of any kind related to this incident as of yet, but we're going to keep asking those questions as we stay out here today. Live in Waco, Andrew Moore, 6 News.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. And of course, that is on everybody's mind. So thank you for that report. Now, as we mentioned, we have team coverage out there off of Bosque, right next to the Extraco Event Center. And as you take a look here, you could see how close the Extraco Event Center and the base are actually to Waco High School right there. So reports of an active shooter would be a very scary thing, and of course you'd want to get everybody to a safe location as well. We've got the third member of our team, Nicole Sheeran, standing by. She's still up there in McLennan County as well. Nicole, can you hear me? And are there a few things that you can tell us to add to this situation as well? Hi, Nicole.
Hey, Chris. Yes, as Andrew and Bailey both said, there is no active shooter at Waco High that we've been told. We have been told that no shots were fired, and the call came in around 2 p.m. Now, the students were brought over to the base Extraco Center to eventually be reunited with their parents, and I spoke with multiple students as they came flooding out of these doors behind me. It was a little bit of a crazy event that I witnessed, but a few students, there were a mix of emotions. Some of them, it was just like any other typical day. Others were in shambles trying to find their parents to just feel safe after these events. One student felt that going to school tomorrow was a danger to him, and he didn't want to take that risk.
Kind of crazy. We were in the middle of class. I was on my laptop doing my work, and then the principal came on the intercom, and then he said, we're on a lockdown and it's not a drill. And I got scared. I ain't gonna lie. I was scared. I'm not coming to school tomorrow. I don't feel safe.
Kids continued to load the buses that are behind me right now. We will have more updates to you as they come our way. Like Andrew said earlier, there were ambulances present, fire trucks present, police cars present. But as of now, some kids have safely been returned to their parents. So we will keep you posted as the updates come in. But for now, in Waco, I'm Nicole Sheeran. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, good job as our third team member up there, Nicole Sheeran. Thank you so much for that report. Now, Bailey.